We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tòng thịnh, bi thứ pháp hội cấp nhật thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp giáo đạo hạ môn, như á liêu sanh thoát từ ly khổ đà la, thức chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sadanto Suchedo Ye Lahudi San Miao San Puto Se. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Già Đà Già Lahadi Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'll be able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu wo jin jie wen de shou ci Yen Jie Ru Lai Zhe Shi Yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Jing Liang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good knowing advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父、上人，各位出家人，各位善知识，弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa Thượng Tiên Hòa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sư Thích Ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 7th of January 2024. Thank you all for joining our discussion of the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. We're here on slide 440. Let's continue. This is the end, towards the end of the verses spoken by the celestial kings in the sixth desire heaven. That's where the heavenly demons reside. 440 text says, yet no one ever sees them come or go. The God wonderful brightness enlightens this.
未曾见佛有去来，此妙光天之所悟。
Okay, so the background here, the prior slides, the prior half of the Gatha, the 4-verse Gatha, it says that for countless and boundless great aeons, the Buddhas manifest everywhere in the 10 directions to speak the Dharma. And we mentioned last time that speaking Dharma was the number one job of the Buddhas. Okay, and that's why they go everywhere in the Dharma realm, in the universe, to speak Dharma to whoever time has come, whose roots have ripened so that they're ready to receive the teaching. All right? So the Buddha is very, very busy. He travels everywhere in the universe constantly. We're not talking about there's a fixed time period. He goes whenever. Okay? Buddhas, that's what they do. They speak the Dharma. That's where it came the concept that of all the giving and the Dharma is foremost. Okay, and that's the case because that's the most important thing the most important thing you can do with your wisdom. That is, all right, and yet no one ever sees them come or go. No one here refers that the assembly present there, listening to the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. And in particular, these are the celestial kings in the sixth desire heaven in the worlds. And so all of them, again, are Mahasattvas, very high level Mahasattvas. And they are able to see a lot more than we can. And therefore, it says here, these beings are very, very skilled, have a tremendous spiritual penetration, can see a whole lot. Never sees the Buddhas come or go. Okay? And so why is that so? Why is there no coming and no going? This is a concept in Buddhism, Ru Lai, or the thus come one. Okay, thus come one. Ru Lai means neither comes nor goes. So why is that? The Buddha goes to speak Dharma to us here in the Saha world, anywhere in the universe, and yet he neither comes nor goes, and is verified by his own disciples. And this is one point of interest here. That is, Buddhas have so many disciples. Unlike many monks and nuns in our worlds, where you see a lot of them practicing by themselves, receiving no left from people, disciples at all, because maybe because it's very difficult to get left home people to live the home life. Okay, that's one reason. Another reason being that maybe there's not much to transfer to you. Okay, and therefore number three, which is much more valid reason, is that many of them I know do not want disciples. Why? Why not? It's because disciples, especially left-from disciples, are the most dangerous people because they are insiders, and if they're unhappy, they can go out there and tell the whole world about you. Okay? And therefore, it's rather dangerous. All right? And so that's why many monks and nuns, eminent monks and nuns, avoid having disciples. Okay? And on the other hand, if you are a great teacher, then this situation happens here. Now, your teachings, your accomplishments do not go unnoticed by your own disciples. And this is how you inspire them to work harder and to continue to progress towards your position. See that? And this is where you should feel very confident, feel a lot more reassured that Buddha's teachings have been verified by his own disciples. These celestial kings, their levels are about almost the same as the Buddha's, okay? And therefore, their words have weight, and therefore, it's very assuring to me to know that these beings there's so many of his disciples throughout the universe who have accomplished and who have successfully reached the position that the Buddhas talked about. Okay? So these beings, they actually ascertained that the Buddha neither comes nor goes. Okay? Meaning that you may see confused people, deluded people may see the Buddha appear in front of them. Okay? They may see that the Buddha all of a sudden appear in front of them, okay, as if he came from somewhere. Okay? And that's the nature of deluded people. That's all they can see. That's all they can understand. Oh, Buddha came to speak Dharma to me. But actually, Buddhas do not even move from his abode. And yet, he manifests. And yet, we see him as coming to talk to us, coming to teach us here in the Saha world. Am I making sense to you? This is a state of Buddha. Buddhas do not need to come nor go. It's just us who sees them coming or going because of our limitations. That's all we can understand. All right? And the God wonderful brightness awakened to this. All right, now next we talking about the next desire heaven level, the fifth desire heaven, which is the heaven of the bliss from transformations. In this heaven, the celestial beings there, they create bliss transform bliss from nowhere. Okay, and that's what they do. The higher level heavens, they get bliss from stealing from you. Okay, so these, for example, these heavenly beings, which actually are heavenly demons, their fun, their bliss comes from encouraging you to indulge in yourself. And then they come and they steal it from you. That's their fun. Okay? So they specialize in stealing. So you can recognize some of them as here, as coming from that heaven because they like to steal good stuff from you. All right? And so, yes, you too.
Thank you, Master. We have here a question from Sarah. It's on a bit of a different topic. Master, I have a pressing issue. My house suffered from rainwater leakage for almost 1 year. It's due to the building's outside wall, and my developer failed to fix the issue. And they are slow to respond to these issues, but it's their duty to fix it under a 10-year building structure warranty. I wanted to seek your advice about what else can I do? And is this my karma? I heard that my condominium has about 10 units suffering from the same issue, not just me. Or is this the collective karma of people who purchased the residence? Thank you.
Yeah, you live in a condo, a condominium, and so therefore is common retribution. Okay. And isn't it covered by the homeowners association fees that they levy against you? So therefore, it's beyond you. It's the association, homeowner association's problem. And they should do a better job, find a better lawyer to take care of it. If they don't, they should be voted out and be replaced by more competent people. Okay? And so I'm sorry to hear that. It's headaches in California where we like the conveniences of living in condominiums. Condominiums in America, unlike other countries, is apartments that you own. We call it condominium. Okay, and whereas in Korea, you own your apartment, it's still called apartments. Yeah, here it's called apartment is you rent, and condo is what you own. And so here, most condos have very high homeowner association fees, but they handle everything, all the repairs and maintenance and improvements. All right, so it's beyond us because it's not a whole lot you can do. The homeowner association is very, very powerful. You cannot do things on your own. Okay, so you need to check with them in everything you do. So yes, it's a common karma that you all have to suffer. All right? That's too bad. I'm very sorry to hear that. There's not a whole lot that you can do. Okay? It's all these in the hands of these people. Go ahead, go Forrest.
Master, could you explain the definition of Mahasattva? Is it associated with a certain ground of Bodhisattva achievement? I looked it up in the Buddhist dictionary, Buddhism dictionary or internet. There's no definition anywhere of Mahasattva.
Mahasattvas, as far as I know, Mahasattvas are bodhisattvas who are at least 8th ground. Anything below is called bodhisattva. So, for example, Master Xu Yun is Mahasattva because he's 8th ground. Okay? And these beings are different because they have greater wisdom than the people below. That's why they're called Maha. They have great wisdom, therefore they actually are much more difficult to train than the lower level bodhisattvas. All right? And in fact, these Mahasattvas, there are a lot in Buddhism. We have a lot of Mahasattvas who are roaming the entire universe to help out. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's a great answer. I could not find the definition anywhere, by the way. This also makes me remember Master said before that 7th ground is a special level that, I don't know, it's a certain special level that I think Master you said we should remember. So I'm just curious, what's the 7 and 8, like what makes 7 special? It's not Mahasattva yet, but it's significant in some way.
It's just my personal views. Up till you reach a 7, your wisdom is kind of crude. It's not until you reach 7 that's when you begin to learn how to save living beings. For example, the lower levels, bodhisattvas, they are not as skilled in teaching. So that's why, even though they're enlightened people in certain countries, they cannot have widespread, they cannot teach that many people. Okay, so that's why their transmission of the Dharma is limited to a very small group of people. Okay, and whereas when you get to seventh ground Bodhisattva, then you'll be taught, you'll be trained on how to help living beings, how to teach living beings. Before that, you don't have enough wisdom to really to help a lot of people. You basically are able to help yourself primarily. Okay, so that's why there's distinction between the low level bodhisattvas and higher level bodhisattvas. Okay, it's for real. So that's why it's very important. Even though they are stable, but they can't do much for Buddhism at all. Okay, yeah. So that's why when in the Chinese system we have the lineage of patriarchs, many of them tend to be low level. For example, Nagarjuna, who is fourth ground Bodhisattva, his job basically primarily was to go to the Dragon King Palace in order to retrieve the Avatamsaka Sutra. And that's his biggest contribution. Otherwise, his teaching is kind of shallow. When I first started, everyone revered Nagarjuna, so I was so happy to put my hands on his teaching, the 6 paramitas, the 10 paramitas, and realize he just doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, so even the patriarchs, they're all bodhisattvas, but they don't necessarily have to be that skilled. They all have a job to do. But so the exception is like Great Master Bodhidharma, who had to transmit the Indian Mahayana to China. Similarly with Master YongHua, who has to bring it from China to the US. You see, they have to be strong enough to be able to grasp, in the case of Bodhidharma, the Indian Mahayana. And Master YongHua, he has to be able to understand the entire Chinese Mahayana in order to bring it here. But before him, for example, Great Master Xu Yun is only 8th ground Bodhisattva, so he didn't do much. He built temples. That's one of the trademarks of these 8th ground Bodhisattvas. They build temples. They build things. Okay? Do Buddhas build temples? They don't. They teach us. They train people. They don't build temples. You see? So we have a lot of bodhisattvas roaming around the entire the Dharma realm, helping out, doing different things. Okay? And it's the mahasattvas who actually are doing the important tasks. Okay? That's why the difference. Right? All right, Korean YouTube.
단톡방에 올라온 2개의 질문입니다. 첫 번째 질문, 김용학 입계님의 질문입니다. 아미타불 마스터, 만트라를 할 때 정확히 108번을 외우는 게 중요한가요? 아니면 많이 할수록 좋나요? 108번 외우는 데에 특별한 의미가 있나요?
This message is for Kim Yong-hak, Emitofuo Master. When we recite a mantra, is it important to recite exactly 108 times? Or recite reciting more number of mantra is important. Is there any special meaning behind the number 108? Thank you.
You should recite as many as possible, the more the better, but usually we prefer to recite 108 times for some magical reasons, I forgot. But basically, it's rather difficult to be able to sustain 108 times, okay? Other than that, I don't remember anything real magical about why 108 times. The explanation I've read, I receive, are not, they don't convince me of this magic number, okay? Except that it's a number that is encouraged in the secret school, so we preserve it, we do that, and it's challenging. You do 108 times, it's not easy. Okay, it takes a long time. But if you do it, I found that if you do that, actually, it helps improve your recitation quicker. That's all I know. Okay, YouTube question.
Thank you, Master. It's a follow-up question from Sarah again, regarding her situation. She says, thank you, Master. Is there anything I can do with spiritual practice to reduce this collective karma that I'm suffering?
There's not a whole lot you can do because it's a complex. It depends on how many units there are, how big of an issue it is. So it's not a whole lot you can do, okay? Because it's not just you, but it's a lot of people involved. And so if it's a long-term issue, I would dump it. It shows to me that the association is not that competent, and that when they allow this to happen and they couldn't fix it properly, I would move on and not allow it to afflict me and affect my life. Take a loss, basically. Okay? Yeah, Korean YouTube.
입봉정희님의 질문입니다. 아미타불 마스터, 입봉정희입니다. 수행 관련하여 질문드립니다. 저는 평소에 아침에 일어나 결과부자 1시간을 하며 42수한, 약사주, 능엄주, 대비주를 하고 있습니다. 아직 1시간 앉는 것도 힘들고 제대로 못 앉아 방가부자로 시작하고 있으며 1시간도 못 채우거나 못하는 날도 있었습니다. 다음 달 2월 1일부터 3월 1일까지 인도 남쪽 케랄라 지역의 텍스타일 워크샵에 참여합니다. 약 100명의 아티스트가 한 곳에 모여 인도 텍스타일을 배우며 작업하는 일정이고 주최 측에서 워크샵 기간 동안 채식 식단과 숙소를 제공하지만 참여하는 사람이 많아 공동 숙소를 지내며 개인 공간은 없을 것 같습니다. 이 기간 동안 어떻게 수행을 이어가면 좋을지 문의드립니다. 감사합니다.
Emitofuo Master, this is Ipong Chung-hee. I have a question about cultivation. Usually I get up early in the morning and I recite 1 hour for 42 hands and eyes, Medicine Master Mantra, Shrankama Mantra, Compassion Mantra for 1 hour. Try to be in full lotus. But however, I'm not used to sitting in full lotus for 1 hour. So sometimes I need to sit in half lotus, or sometimes I can fulfill the 1 hour sitting. So next month, from February 1st to March 1st, I'm going to southern India. It is Katala's areas, and there's a workshop for textile. There will be about 100 artists going to be all together and learning India's textile, and we're going to do some work, and that's the regular schedule. So what we're going to stay there, they're going to provide us a vegetarian food and also common place to stay together. But there's so many people there, about 100 people, and we're spending in the same common areas, and I won't be able to have any private areas. So during this period, would you give me advice what kind of cultivation I could do? Thank you very much.
Well, lucky you, you go to India. Indian vegetarian food is excellent, I'm told. But it has a lot of onions, okay, and the pungent plants. What can you do? When you go to those places, when you have no privacy, then what you can do is learn to do your stuff silently. You just like sit there, and since you cannot sit in full lotus for long, you sit there until your legs hurt and then you move. So that's would be less conspicuous, and that people don't think you're doing anything special because you're moving around. And so it's perfect. You go there and you recite as much you can, and then silently, when you do the 42 hands and eyes, don't use any mudras, just recite them. Okay? That's all. That's all you have to do, and you'll be fine. All right? Good luck to you. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Okay? If I could get to go to India for a month, the last thing I have in mind would be to recite mantras and cultivate. Come on, live a little. JC question.
네, 안녕하세요. 저 이틀 전 화엄경 강설에서 우리가 명상을 하지 않을 때 견옥한 상태에 있을 수도 있다고 하셨는데요. 그리고 평소에 견옥이 있더라도 명상할 때 거기서 벗어나면 된다고 하셨습니다. 그렇다면 우리가 명상을 하지 않을 때, 그러니까 일상생활을 하다가 필요할 때 판매에 드는 방법이 무엇인지 궁금하고요. 그리고 어떻게 그런 기술을 연마할 수 있는지 궁금합니다. 네, 감사합니다. 그 view of delusion 이었던 것 같은데요. 네.
So, Master, 2 days ago during the Avatamsaka prologue, there was something about we learn about view of delusions. We don't do the meditation, but sometimes we still experience view of delusions. Without the meditation, even the regular times, not doing the meditation, there will be a way to enter the samadhi. Is there any way that we could cultivate and being able to enter this sort of samadhi without actually meditating?
Yes. When you learn chant, when you come to the chantis, we teach you how to enter samadhis by various means, like crossing your legs, meditating, like whatever. Okay, all sorts of things that you can learn at the temple on how to develop your samadhis. Okay, and that's called samadhi while in stillness. But that's not it. But once you understand how to enter those samadhis, you naturally will be able to enter the samadhis while in movement. Okay, so Chan doesn't stop right there. Chan doesn't only apply to sitting Chan, but also walking Chan, eating Chan, everything in life you can do it and still enter samadhi, and so that's why it's called samadhi in movement. Okay, so two kinds of samadhi. Samadhi in stillness is deeper, and samadhi in motion, in movement, it's not as deep, but it's still a form of samadhi as well. Okay, so that's why it's so important for you to develop samadhi first. It doesn't matter how long, but you need to enter the samadhi, develop samadhi, so you're able to recognize a state of mind. Once you're able to recognize a state of mind, then when you are in movement, in motion, you still can enter it as well, albeit you won't be able to stay there as long. So when you are in movement, you're more like in, out, in, out, in, out, like this, okay? Or in and out, okay? So you still are able to do it naturally, all right? So you will develop that skill naturally in your daily life. So that's why we encourage you to come to those chanchis, develop the skills, and then hone it or strengthen it at home every day by practicing an hour or so, or practicing as much as you can, so that in your daily life, even when at work, when you are performing a ballet, for example, you still can enter the samadhi yourself. Okay? So that's why samadhi is a very useful skill to have that everyone uses in their daily lives. Okay? Once you sit at home and you enter that samadhi, you go to work, you can very easily enter it again. And you understand eventually, when you get more skill, you understand why. I don't explain everything to you because I want you to discover it yourself gradually. Number two, I don't want people who do not meditate, who can listen to my explanation and then they said, I know everything, I don't need to do anything. Okay? It's about you being able to do it. It's not about knowing. This is the skill that you develop, not you can describe it, or that's not meaningful at all. The scholars can talk about it, but they can't do it. We do it and we don't talk about it. All right? So it's a natural thing. You don't have to worry about it. Just try your best to come and cultivate, try to maintain it every day, and in your daily life, you will enter samadhi naturally. In everything you do. And then eventually you understand how to enter it. When you get a little bit higher level, and then you say, now I know how to enter this samadhi. Okay? It's a natural evolution. It's cool. It's a fun thing. It's a very important skill in life. I can't stress enough for you how important it is for you to develop samadhi. This is what I would call fundamental part of life. The samadhi skills is one of the most important skills in life that you can have. If you think that you can go and work and do your engineering, do your design work and so forth, yes, that's recognized by others, but with the samadhi, you'll be an outstanding performer. So everyone else can go and learn the skills, the technical skills, the knowledge skills, but only those who have samadhi powers will be able to deliver when they must and outperform the others. So in other words, is you have a significant competitive advantage over all the others who are not trained like you are. Okay? That's why I say that you are an asset to society in that sense. You will outperform yourself. Okay? As you improve, you outperform yourself. Not to mention all the others who do not have your skills. Okay? All right, 5.
저희가 그러니까 여행을 가거나 장기적으로 출장을 가면 호텔에 이제 머물게 되는데, 제가 이제 저뿐만 아니라 좀 여러분들의 의견이 좀 분분해서 제가 이 기회를 통해서 좀 명확하게 하고 싶어서 질문을 드리게 되었는데요. 일단 여태까지 사전 배경 지식으로는 호텔이나 이렇게 집이나 절이 아닌 장소에서는 대비주와 사시비수화는 가능하지만 능엄주는 좀 불가하다라는 사전 배경 지식을 가지고 있고요. 일단 세라님 여기까지 한번. 네.
Master, I have a question about traveling. It's whether personal reason or work reason, we go travel, we stay in a hotel. So there are many people has a different opinions about reciting mantra at those locations. So I remember that it's okay to recite 42 hands and eyes and great compassion mantra. However, it's prohibited to recite Shrangama mantra. She will continue.
근데 질문은 이제 호텔이 그러니까 그 호텔이라고 예를 들면 호텔에서 이제 혼자 개인 룸을 쓰고 있지만 새벽 예불을 해야 될 경우에 제 첫 번째 질문은 줌을 통해서 연결을 하거나 마스터의 MP3를 듣거나 하면 능엄주가 포함되어 있지만 새벽 예불이 가능하다는 의견이 있고요. 세라님 한번 이게 나을 것 같아요. 네.
So, for example, in a hotel, of course, I'm staying. The situation is staying alone in private quarter. Number one, in the morning, like to perform morning ceremony. So in that case, we could listen to the MP3 or use the Zoom. And in that ceremony, Shrangama mantra is included. She will continue.
그리고 두 번째는 MP3를 듣거나 줌은 그냥 듣기만 하는 거니까 능엄주가 포함되어 있어도 새벽 예불은 가능하다는 의견이 있고 세 번째는 읽는 거든 MP3든 무조건 다 안 된다라는 의견이 있어서 이렇게 호텔이나 이렇게 장기적으로 이렇게 뭐 그러니까 호텔에서 새벽 예불을 해도 되는지 만약에 해도 된다면 어떠한 형태의 새벽 예불이 가능한지를 질문드립니다.
So number two scenario is people said listening MP3 or attending Zoom is just listening. So although Shrangama mantra is included, it's possible to do the morning ceremony in a hotel. Number three, people said everything is prohibited. You cannot do the morning ceremony. So would you please let us know what we should do if we stay in a hotel and we like to do morning ceremony? If we do, how can we do without getting any trouble? Thank you.
Okay. When you travel to certain countries, that are dangerous, I would not do any recitation at all. I would not even travel at all. I would not go to those countries. Because when you recite these mantras, you're provoking them. They're able to be evil states because they have a lot of these demons there. And therefore, you don't want to provoke them. I don't go to those places. Okay? If I go, I don't recite. Okay? Whereas otherwise, when you follow the our ceremonies, it's okay. You have nothing to worry about. All right.
그러니까 좀 구체적으로 얘기하면 미국에 한 달 정도 출장을 가고 그러면 새벽 예불, 대비주, 42소환 모두 하지 않는 걸로 그렇게 인지하면 될까요?
So Master, for example, let's say we're visiting the US for 1 month. We shouldn't do any 42 hands on eyes, great compassion mantra or Shrangama mantra. Thank you.
In the US? Is US an evil state? Let me see.
실은 남편이 미국 출장을
Depends on which state. Texas, be careful. Florida, be careful.
텍사스에
I avoid those places.
근데 남편은 고용된 사람이라 어쩔 수 없이 가야 돼가지고.
Master, honestly, it's about my husband. He's visiting the US for 1 month, but it's going to be in Texas. But unfortunately, he's working for a company. He doesn't have a choice where he can go.
Texas is a very nice state. Austin is a nice city. Go have fun. Don't go there to cultivate. Okay? Because I cultivate. I have to work during the day, the whole day, every single day. So that's why I cannot afford to go to places where I can't work. That's the main reason.
남편이 이 소식을 들으면 되게 기뻐하겠네요. 지금 새벽 예불을 거의 2년 가까이 하고 있어서 되게 스트레스를 많이 받고 있었거든요. 마스터 감사합니다.
When your husband, if he goes to Texas, enjoy the barbecue ribs and the steaks. Why not? They're fun. Okay? And the rodeo and Yahoo. Okay? It's okay. I just have my own limitations. I self-imposed limitations. All right? I wouldn't worry too much. United States is fine. It's pretty relatively safe country. All right? And those places where you don't feel comfortable, then recite medicine, Master Buddha's name. All right? Anything else? Okay, very good. So we're in a bliss from transformations. They manufacture their own fun, their own bliss. 443, moreover, celestial kings skilled at transformations gain a passage into liberation of explaining the transformation power of all karma.
复次，善化天王得开示一切业变化力解脱门。
444. This celestial king here is called skilled at transformation. Maybe that's why he's number one. He is the first one that's mentioned in the list of 10 celestial kings here, which is representative of in countless celestial kings from this heaven. And he's skilled at transformation, meaning that he's very, very good at making transformations. Okay, and he's skilled, meaning that he uses his transformation as to help a lot of living beings and teach them. Okay, and so he became enlightened, and now he uses his honing his skills, and he honed his skills, and now he uses them to transform living beings. Okay, and how did he become enlightened? He became enlightened by explaining the transformation power of all karma, meaning that he understands. When you are able to explain, it's because you've accomplished it, you realize it, you acquire the skills. Okay, what skills? Of the transformation power of all karma. So he himself was able to use to transform all sorts of karmas into good stuff. Okay, and not only good stuff, but also he says he realizes that you don't simply if you only produce good transformation, then you're one-sided. So he also is able to use expedients to also transform people using bad karmas. What are bad karmas? I don't know. What are the bad things you do? He does. Okay? Yeah. So this tells you that his wisdom is pretty impressive. Okay? He can do good. He can also do evil for the sake of transforming living beings. And that's what he now is able to explain all these transformations. It's not in any books. It's something you do. Okay? That's why you need these Mahasattvas to teach you. Next, 445, Celestial King, illumination of quiescent sound, gain a passage into liberation of renouncing all forms of climbing on conditions.
其境因光明天王得舍离一切攀缘解脱门。
All right, 446. Buddhist term here, climbing on conditions. What is that? Pan yuan. Yuan is condition. Pan is a climb. Like climbing rocks. Climbing the mountain. Okay? That's what he does. What does it mean to climb on conditions? Yes, 8.
So, Master, is that to take advantage of the condition to benefit?
Advantage of favorable conditions. Okay? When conditions are favorable to you, you climb on it. You ride it so that you have more. You get more out of it. So this behavior is very commonplace. We all often climb on conditions, don't we? Because why? Why do we often climb on conditions? Number one, because we're proud of it. We're smart. You often hear, you don't take it, someone else will. It's there for the taking. It's there if you are able to benefit from it. Why not? Nothing wrong with that, right? So smart people in particular is very prone to doing this. And so why is it in Buddhism we caution you, we warn you not to indulge in climbing on conditions, like Master YongHua. He says, 动是无攀缘, 恶是无化缘, 穷是无久远. Say, freezing, freezing to death, we don't climb on conditions. We don't climb on conditions, whether that we are freezing to death, whether you are dying of hunger or you're dying of poverty, you don't climb on conditions. So Master YongHua is even more precise in his teachings to us. The three conditions that make us very prone to climbing on conditions. Fear of death. You freeze to death, okay? You fear and you're afraid of dying, okay? You're afraid of hunger and you're afraid of poverty. Those are the reasons why we often climb on conditions. Okay? And typically we climb on conditions because of greed. Every time you climb on conditions, you feed your greedy nature. You make it stronger, make it grow bigger. Your greed grows. Your greed increases. And that's counter to cultivation. Cultivation, you're supposed to learn to be less greedy, not more. You get by with less, not more. Okay, and so this particular heavenly king, celestial king, how did he become enlightened? It's rather interesting. He became enlightened simply by looking at his habit energy of climbing on conditions. Take advantage of the situation. Take advantage of others in particular. And he says, oops, there I go again. I'm trying to exploit the situation. Therefore, since this is what I want to do, okay? I will not do it. He stops himself. He does not allow himself to take advantage of people of his advantageous position. He will not. And that's how he became enlightened. Isn't that amazing? Focus on this alone. If you have a tendency to climb on conditions, look at him. He says, I will not do it this time. So he resists the tendency to climb on conditions. And that's how you open your wisdom. Deliberately not take advantage of the situation, take advantage of people. Do you then turn around, tell your boyfriend, hey, listen, today I did not take advantage of 3 conditions. Huh? You don't say anything. No one knows. Only you know. That's why it's called wisdom. Because only you know. Because you gain wisdom by telling me, then it should be my wisdom, not yours. All right? Is that clear? So that's how I became enlightened. Isn't it fascinating? Just look at our tendency to climb conditions, take advantage of people, to manipulate people, and so forth. Cut it out. Stop, stop, stop. That's how you open your wisdom. All right? And so that's how he became known as illumination of quiescent sound. I'm not sure why he chose to do quiescent sound illumination. Okay? Anyone has any ideas? I have no idea. Okay. Next, 447. Celestial King, illumination of powerful transformations. Gain a passage into liberation of universally eradicating the stupid and dark minds of sentient beings, thus enabling them to perfect their wisdom.
变化力光明天王得普灭一切众生痴暗心，令智慧圆满解脱门。
Okay. The dark minds, the many dark minds of people, not just one mind. There's countless minds that are dark from sentient beings. All right? Yeah. So it shows how skilled he is. Okay. So how did this guy become enlightened. He recognizes people who are stupid and minds and dark, okay, with their minds. And he eradicates them. Eradicate them. So he specializes in dealing with stupid and dark-minded people. That, to me, it's fascinating, because it's most difficult to help stupid people. Isn't it? You tell them, they don't get it. They come in, you tell them, do this, and they can't do it. So you say, get out of here. You don't belong here. And that's what typically monks do. Okay? Actually, I recently, some parents of a young man who've been coming to our temple regularly for 2 years, 3 years now, asked me, would you allow my son, the dad said, you allow my son to become a monk under you? And I tell you what, if you do that, I'm not rich, but I will support you, your temple. I said, you have not been supporting my temple the last 3 years. I asked myself, what is it you supported? The temple. What did you do to support the temple the last 3 years? So it's not going to change unless he becomes a monk under me. So the support of the temple is conditional. So what does it mean, to me? Hint, hint. Climbing on conditions. I said, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. Now I can't climb on conditions because I'd be so embarrassed to my master. And master said, don't climb on conditions, okay? So I turned him down. He's so upset, never came back to the temple. I tell you, it's very hard not to climb on conditions. You have to pay a very, 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 very heavy price. You see, so that's why it's very difficult to help stupid people. So it's best they stay away from our temples, okay? Because they make you do things like climbing on conditions and losing your temper and look so cruel and stupid, okay? You can't, and yet, this celestial king here specializes in helping stupid people and dark mind. Their mind is so dark. Whatever you tell them about right and wrong, they don't get it. They only see darkness, evil stuff. And this guy can help them. How? Wouldn't that be interesting? I look at that and say, I was looking at it tonight before coming here, I said, so how did he do it? How would he, first of all, tip my hat to him. I'm so impressed that you choose to work with stupid people because I can't, okay? They make me do things. They force me to do things. And I feel ashamed of myself after they leave, okay? So I ask, how do you help these stupid and dark-minded people? Anyone? Yes, 9.
밝은 빛으로 어둡고 어리석음을 밝혀줄 수 있습니다.
With the bright light, this celestial king is able to help their stupidity and dark mind.
Yeah, she's cheating. She looked at his name and says, I figured out how to do this, so now what I do, it all the ways by illuminating, shining a light, bright light on everything, so that there's no more darkness. It's dark because you can't see. So he's doing stupid things because he cannot see the consequences. Yes? He doesn't see it's wrong. He didn't say, so I step on you and crush your neck and kill you because I couldn't see you. But now I see, I want to walk around you, okay? So she's right. You shine a bright light upon, you use your light of wisdom to shine upon the issues that these living beings face. You don't sit there and say, this is your problem and, I'm sorry. They go everywhere. He goes everywhere to all living beings who ask for help and then shines a light on their problems. Okay? And not only just shine a light, he used powerful transformations. Okay, so he transforms. Instead of transforming to generate bliss for him, he transforms to help them see better, understand better. So what kind of transformation are we talking about? Chinese people, you should have some clues. By灭. What's 灭? This is where Chinese is important. This is why I encourage you to learn Chinese. For that reason, you're Sangha, you want to study Buddhism, advanced Buddhism, you need to go and learn a Chinese language. 灭. What's 灭? Yeah? Mie is extinguish. Yeah? So for example, what's an example? Extinguishing. Like extinguishing a fire. Yes? How do you extinguish fire? You throw water at it. Okay? That's one way. Or you throw that thing, you submerge that thing under water. So you drown it. It sounds too violent? No, not violent enough. Huh? Okay, so you drown it. This is why I love violence. You extinguish by drowning. So, meaning that he misbehaves, okay? He's going to do some bad karmas. You throw him into the lake. You push him off the boat. You submerge him. You put your hand on his head and make sure he's underwater. You got that? That's submerging. That's by extinguishing. Isn't that cool? This is Chinese wisdom. It's so beautiful. You think it's things like teaching people, I like you, you're so, is it New Year yet? Okay. No, sometimes you have to be brutal to them. You push it down and then you pull them up and they forget about all the evil things. Okay? And sometimes what else you do to me? Chinese people, come on, use your dictionary. So, powerful transformations, meaning that he's misbehaving. So all of a sudden, you use him, and he sees himself being thrown into a lake, and then he cannot climb up because the invisible hand that pushes him down. That's a transformation. Isn't that cool? You think these people don't have fun? Oh, they have a lot of fun. Okay? Very imagination, lots of imagination here. Okay? It's fun part of their work. Yes, you too. What else you do?
I have here from WMT Apple.
Yeah.
What about buying things on sale? Is it climbing on conditions, becoming more greedy?
I like to call it, because I do, helping the economy. Because I don't buy anything unless it's on sale. I don't care what you think. What is the matter with you, Apple? Huh? Unless you're desperate, buy on regular price. I usually want to buy something, I wait and wait, okay, until I see a sale. Minimum, depend on the product. 50% is my goal. Okay? Good Lord. Grow up, Apple. But yes, you do climate conditions, sometimes for a good reason. All right. So what else do you do for transformation to me, these stupid and dark minds? Way Mountain.
Master, I do have a question. So extinguishing by drowning or submerging will be...
Yeah, like put out fire. You submerge fire in the water, okay?
It's like...
So use your imagination, water use.
It's like putting a person on the spot, like to see the, to like kind of like force them.
Well, you could say that those black sites, CIA black sites, have you heard of CIA black sites? When they used water torture?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Oh, come on. That's submerging as well. You know what I'm talking about? They have these prisoners they want to torture, so they put a cloth over their head, okay, and they pour water on top so that they cannot breathe. Look at Martina, she's so shocked.
I thought it was already speaking to the general. Yes, I do see that. So when you say is transforming, so if I want...
So that means that that's a guy who's like Osama bin Laden. I don't want to name anyone who's still alive. It's captured, okay? Okay? Instead of killing him, he wants to transform Osama bin Laden to remove his stupid and dark mind. So what does he do? He uses transformation power. All of a sudden, Osama bin Laden sits there. All of a sudden, he feels as if he has a cloth with water being poured in his face. I couldn't breathe. And he sits there. You see, that's called transformation power. Isn't that cool? So he's torturing, but actually he's not torturing. So that means compassion, torture with compassion. Look at Martina. Yeah, shocking. What bodhisattvas do.
I'm trying to figure it out. How will that work?
Would that work?
I want to achieve transformation.
Yeah, it's just like you go home tonight, put a piece of cloth on your face, a towel on your face, and ask Marco to pour water on your face for 10 minutes. And make sure he ties your hand behind your back. Okay? So instead of physically doing that, this Mahasattva uses spiritual powers to make you feel like it's happening to you. And you're so terrified.
How would that be? Like,
just go home, talk to Marco. Don't try and understand too much.
Marco doesn't have that power, Master.
It doesn't matter. It's like, so just tell him to put a towel on your face and pour water. That's all. Make sure he ties you down. Okay, and so he uses various skill and means and make a transformation that happen. What else you do? Okay, you put out the fire, extinguish your dark mind, your stupid mind by submerging you, terrifying you, so you don't dare behave like that, think like that anymore. What else can you do to extinguish? You crush them. You destroy the mind. Yeah. For example, what in this particular situation, for example, you misbehave. You act stupidly, and you want to do stupid things because of your dark mind, because you are being pulled by a manic ghost. Okay? So he sees that, he says, I'm going to beat the manic ghost. So he crushes manic ghost goes away, and you're back to normal. Okay? And so he uses transformation powers too. Yes, Wei Mao. You can use your imagination. This guy is so cool. Okay?
Master, so I do remember one time that I was so much in anger and I didn't know how to deal with it. I felt like I was trying to tame a wild horse. I was trying to hold it down because I didn't want to hurt no one, or at least this person. So what I did, I came to the temple. I called my friend and I said, can you tell me the address of the temple that you took me? And I do remember getting to the temple and crossing my legs, and I do remember feeling the pain, but I knew that was better than getting out of that temple and hurt someone. I do remember that time, I don't know how that happened, but my anger went away. So up to today, I haven't felt the same level of rage or anger towards someone. And so for me, will be, I guess, submerging myself is crossing my leg because it's painful. And it hasn't happened. That's what I continue coming because of the things that it will help me to do that I couldn't do myself outside.
Yep. You get a lot of help. So that's what we can do for you. But this guy is so much more skillful. He has so many more ways to help people overcome their dark minds and their stupid minds. Okay? So he's so skilled. He's fantastic. And yet he's only a lowly celestial king. Amazing. In Buddhism, they hide. That's what we call, they hide the great and manifest the small. The small being a celestial king, the great being he's being a high-level Mahasattva. Okay, that's what these superior beings do. Time is up. Any final questions before we end it here tonight? Okay, if not, then thank you all, everyone. We'll see you next time.